The Mark 8.5 Volkswagen Golf R. Is that a boring choice or actually a pretty impressive hot hatch? Well, we're gonna find out at the end of this video. We're also gonna talk what this thing is from a technical standpoint, how I feel about the interior space, and what it's like to drive it on our favorite back roads, so let's get started. So 2025 marks the debut of the Mark 8.5 generation Volkswagen Golf, and what comes with that, the GTI and the R got a refresh. We have an R today, but we're gonna have a GTI next week, so stay tuned if you're interested in the car as well. So what exactly is new? Well, nothing really, and you really have to be a Volkswagen fanboy to notice differences, at least from the outside. We got redesigned front bumper. Inside, we have new technology, including the infotainment system, and unfortunately, we lost a 6-speed manual gearbox, meaning a 7-speed DSG is the only option. Everything else is basically the same. This car obviously still sits on Volkswagen's MQB Evo platform, which has been around for a while and underpins like 20 million different Volkswagen Group products. It's a strut front, multi-link back combined with adaptive dampers, which obviously let you pick different damping settings from comfort to sport to race, and also continuously adjust to the driving conditions. As of brakes, the R gets 2 piston floating calipers up front, single in the back, which may not seem like they're enough, but I can already tell you the brakes are pretty effective and I have no complaints. Now, under the hood obviously sits the E888 engine, a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, which delivers 328 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, so that's a 13 horsepower increase over the pre-facelift model. As I said, a 6-speed manual gearbox is gone, so we only get a 7-speed DSG, which is a great unit, but I still understand why some people would love to have a manual. Now, what has not changed is the torque vectoring all-wheel drive system with an e-LSD up front. It can send up to 50% of the power to the rear axle, and then 100% of that 50% can go to each of the rear wheels to provide as much grip as possible and help with rotation. We also have a drift mode, which optimizes the stability control and torque vectoring to let you go sideways. I haven't had a chance to try it out, and it's still a front-wheel drive biased vehicle, so it's probably nothing crazy, but if you drove it, let me know. I'm really curious to hear how it feels. Now, new for 2025 is the Euro style package that our tester has, and that's basically the stuff that was previously reserved to the Euro market only. Lighter sport seats, sunroof delete, and the Akrapovic exhaust system. It's a little pricey though, $3,800 to be exact. So let's talk about pricing. It starts at around $47,000, and for extra $1,300, you can get the Black Edition package, which basically blacks out the exterior elements, gives you some carbon fiber and forged wheels. With the Euro Style package, we're looking at 53 grand, which makes it, I think, the most expensive hot hatch in the segment. Now, the question is it the best hot hatch in the segment? Well, we're gonna find out in a minute. First, let's take a look inside and talk about the interior space. Okay, so we're inside the MK 8.5 Volkswagen Golf R. Now, the previous generation, the Mark 7, was a prime example of great German engineering. Why are you yelling at me? I know the car started, it's like 95 degrees outside. Alright, anyways, let's get back to that. The Mark 7, it was a prime example of great German design. It had great ergonomics, great quality materials, everything was built around the driver, and it was super easy to drive this thing. The Mark 8 is a little bit different, and while I got used to this clean design, I still miss some physical controls, and for some reason, the R still gets haptic buttons on the steering wheel, unlike the GTI. Overall, everything just seems a little bit sterile and boring here, but if you like simplicity, you will appreciate the space. On the bright side though, the material choice and build quality are excellent, definitely better than in a Type R or an Elantra N. The whole cabin just feels very solid, which we typically associate with German cars. Now, something that really catches your attention is this massive display for the infotainment system. So, it runs new updated software with the new UI, and it has noticeably faster processing power. And that's a change for better compared to what we got before. There is an improvement in terms of usability and graphical interface, and we still have haptic controls with shortcut buttons for drive modes or climate right underneath the display. It just sucks that I cannot easily adjust the volume or temperature inside the cabin. I have to use those freaking sliders underneath the screen. Anyways, where the R really shines is the interior usability and space. At the end of the day, it's a Golf, so the storage in the center console and under the armrest are great. Door pockets also offer a good amount of space, so I can easily fit my big water bottle. And since it's a hatch, the cargo area is pretty practical. You drop the seats and you can fit plenty of stuff in it. Now, the front seats are okay. They're very comfortable, but not the most supportive. At least not as much supportive as the buckets are in the Civic Type R or the Elantra N. Those just hold you better in place. Now, moving to the back seat is definitely tighter if we compare it to the Civic Type R, which is a segment leader when it comes to the interior space, but being 6'1", I can fit behind myself without big issues. Not sure if I want to spend more than an hour back there, but I do get climate controls and heated rear seats, which is not so obvious in this class. Overall, it's a very nicely designed cabin with not so great ergonomics, but I can care less. I really care what it's like to drive this thing, so let's head into our favorite back row right now. Okay, so we're behind the wheel of the Volkswagen Golf R. Technically, the Golf has always been a boring vehicle. It gets its job done, but there's nothing inspiring about it. We have a GTI, which is a little bit more fun to drive, but the Golf R should be that track tool, that autocross tool, but also a great daily. Is it true? Well, let's find out. We have a couple of ways to change our drive modes. We can even use this R button that's on the steering wheel, or the mode button right here in the middle. Let's put it into the most aggressive custom mode that I have pre-programmed, and that includes chassis and the drivetrain. Also, ESC is in sport mode. We can just floor it. Oh boy, this thing is flying. That EA that sits under the hood is a fantastic unit. It makes 328 horsepower according to Volkswagen, but feels like it's 328 horses to the wheels. It delivers power incredibly smoothly. There's no torque dips, no inconsistency. It manages heat soak pretty well. I haven't noticed any issues with timing, and it's awesome. We have the Euro style package on our tester, which means we get the Akrapovic exhaust. And it's not maybe super aggressive, but it definitely sounds better than the 4-cylinder that the Civic Type R has. 7-speed DSG, I don't think I have to say much about it. It's a class of its own. Volkswagen has been making dual clutch transmissions for more than 2 decades at this point, and what we get in the Golf R is fantastic. The transmission is very quick to downshift and upshift. It has a great logic and automatic mode, and it also has that dual personality. In comfort mode, it's gonna be very smooth. There's gonna be a little bit of clutch slip, but when you wanna drive aggressively, it's not gonna let you down. The shifts are very crisp, a little bit more aggressive, and oh man, the Golf R surprised me in a positive way. As of handling, we got tons of mechanical grip. The rear torque vectoring all-wheel drive system helps with rotation, and the Golf R really nicely rotates. There is a little bit more understeer compared to the Civic Type R, but I think alignment would fix that. Also, the dampers are much nicer than what we get in Civic Type R. The rebound and compression are better. There's more body roll, but still, we can fly through those corners. Unfortunately, the steering doesn't provide us much feedback. That's your typical Volkswagen. It is quick and somewhat direct. The car changes its direction very quickly, but that's also to give you that sensation of nimbleness. I mean, the Golf is nimble, don't get me wrong, but the steering does feel artificial. I do not have any complaints about the brakes. 4 pistons up front. The brake pedal is very nicely calibrated, so we can modulate the braking power pretty nicely. Oh, there was a little bit of rotation on that rear end. We have the ESC in Sport, so it's not as proactive as it is in the regular mode, but wow. Mid-corner shift, didn't upset the car. And wow, everything about this car is so well calibrated. All the inputs are great, maybe besides the steering, but it is a phenomenal vehicle. And what's great about it is you can just put it into comfort mode and it's gonna be super comfortable. The valve on the exhaust closes and the transmission is super smooth. We can't even notice any shifts. It's really impressive what Volkswagen did with the Golf R. I mean, it's a super comfortable as a daily. The dampers feel maybe a little bit stiffer compared to your regular Golf that you no longer get in the US, but it's still very nice and compliant car, even though we have 19-inch rims on the Golf R. I mean, technology works great as well. That's its biggest advantage. They finally fixed the infotainment system. We have a great set of driver assistance systems, and it's just an awesome car. My only gripe is we don't get the wagon variant in the US. I can imagine that this thing would probably outsell the hatchback variant. I don't understand why Volkswagen didn't decide to bring it here, but Golf R is the choice of enthusiasts, and enthusiasts, they already love wagons, right? So that's the only thing. Now, if you compare the Golf R to its main competitors, Civic Type R, Elantra, and I mean, granted, they're both front-wheel drive vehicles, but they're in the same price and horsepower league. The Golf R is going to be more refined as a daily. It's not going to feel as mechanical, especially if you compare it to a GR Corolla. That thing is that pure, raw, old-school Japanese hot hatch, but what they did here is they had to compromise some things. You can tell that a lot of those things are software controlled, so you may not necessarily feel super connected to it. You may not have as much fun in it as you would have in a Civic Type R, but like I said, you're gonna take it to work, you're gonna pack your family, and nobody is gonna complain about anything. So with that, let's head into the final thoughts and summarize it. Okay, so let's sum up the Mark 8.5 Volkswagen Golf R. I really like it. It has a dual personality that I like in cars. It's comfortable as a daily, it's practical, it doesn't really punish you or provoke you to drive fast, but with a flip of a switch, when you put it into custom mode, it turns into a very capable hot hatch. What's true is that it doesn't feel as mechanical as a GR Corolla or a Civic Type R. But you have to ask yourself the question, what do you prioritize, and then make your choice based on that. If you want a pure mechanical car that's gonna be super fun to drive, has a 6-speed manual transmission, yeah, get a Toyota or a Honda. I'm not gonna lie to you, the Golf will not give you as many emotions as those two do. But if you need that all-around car that your spouse will like, that your kids will like, that will fly under the radar, check out the Golf R. I just wish we had a wagon in the US. Come on, Volkswagen, please bring it here. Anyways, if you guys have any questions about this thing, drop a comment and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you all later.